The Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims, Supkem, has called for a national dialogue to address the concerns raised by Gen Zs during a recent protest. Speaking during a media briefing in Nairobi, Supkem National Chairman Hassan Naado stated that the country needs to have serious conversation on issues raised by Gen Z. At the same time, Supkem distanced itself from a petition to remove President Ruto from office on grounds that they were not consulted, despite Supkem being listed as an interested party.
The Supreme Council of Kenya Muslim National Chair Hassan Naado, while quoting the constitution of Supkem, distanced themselves from the petition filed by Cyprian Nyamwamu and 13 others to remove President Ruto from office.
The Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims distanced itself from the case filed by Nyamwamu and 13 others on grounds that we were not consulted and that Supkem is incapable of filing a response in its own name. 2. The leadership of Supkem will approach the Honorable Court seized on this matter to have Supkem discharged as an interested party.
Naado urged the Gen Zs to engage the government in dialogue, stating that the issues raised are of great concern to the nation and requires comprehensive engagement.
Supkem stands by its earlier position that following the historic protest by Gen Zs that pricked the conscience of our nation, the country needs to have a very serious conversation with itself in order to ensure that the genuine issues raised by Gen Zs are addressed comprehensively and with finality.
This move comes as a response to the growing unrest and demands for change among the youth, who have been vocal about issues such as unemployment and political transparency.
Further, our position is support of structured and all-inclusive dialogue to address the pertinent issues raised by Gen Zs is anchored in Article 10 of the Constitution on national values and principles of governance, which include, among other things, the rule of law, democracy, and participation of the people.
Supkem further called for justice and compensation for all victims of police brutality related to peaceful protests that occurred in various parts of the country.
Above all, we cannot proceed with dialogue without justice for the innocent lives lost during Gen Z's protest, and without holding the relevant duty bearers accountable for the physical and psychological trauma suffered by those who are maimed, abducted, and illegally detained in said response to the youth protests.
President Ruto had on July 9th announced a 6-day multi-sectoral convention aimed at addressing the issues raised by the youth in response to protests initially sparked by the Finance Bill 2024.
Kenya, being the resilient people we always are, to come together and figure out the future of our country.
Protesters, however, rejected the call for dialogue, maintaining that the protests clearly articulated their demands. Muhammad Shakombo, Muslim Insight.